Now again, you asked for it, and your host, Jack Smith. The national anthem of the United States, the Star-Spangled Banner, holds a deep-felt meaning for all Americans. It's a song of faith in our country, of love for our land and pride in our nation. The words resound with concern for the well-being of our people. They hail the courage of those who helped make America a land of the free. The Star-Spangled Banner is our patriotic hymn, and Fort McHenry occupies a preeminent position among the historic shrines of our country. It was a glimpse of the American flag waving defiantly above the ramparts of the fort in Baltimore that inspired Francis Scott Key to compose our anthem. Now, this story is presented with the cooperation of the National Park Service and the Maryland Historical Society, and suggested by Aldine R. Berg, TV editor of the Baltimore American. The national anthem will be played by the United States Air Force Band.
The War of 1812 between England and the United States found me a citizen of the District of Columbia, a successful lawyer and somewhat of a poet. Francis Scott Key is the name. It was August 1814 that the British struck Washington, burned our beautiful capital, the President's house, and all the government buildings. Then, under command of General Ross, the British turned north with a plan to punish Baltimore. They landed here at this place, and then marched toward North Point. It was September 12, 1814. The enemy moved rapidly along the road, and after 5 miles, a skirmish ensued. The British General Ross was killed. The Americans, however, fell back to within half a mile of Baltimore, and here General Stryker ordered them to stand. The Hempstead Hill defenses were our chief shield against land attack. The British, impressed by the American fortifications, began a retreat. Estimating a force of 20,000 and realizing that Fort McHenry would cut off any naval support, they moved back and left the fight to the British warships. General Sam Smith realized the British fleet would now concentrate on Fort McHenry. Smith made ready with additional gun batteries and ordered a new flag to be made and raised over the fort. 15 stars it was to be, and 15 stripes. The widow Pickersgill was selected to make the flag. She lived here with her 14-year-old daughter, Carolyn. Together, they fashioned the banner of 400 yards of bunting. A beautiful ensign, 30 by 42 feet. A few days before, I had ridden into Baltimore from my home in Georgetown near Washington. I was on an errand of mercy. Dr. William Beans had been arrested and was being held aboard the British flagship. I was permitted to visit the enemy fleet in an effort to obtain the doctor's release. After considerable dissertation, I was fortunately able to effect the release of Dr. Beans. Because we had learned the fleet was going to blast Baltimore, we were placed under guard until after the battle. As we watched from some distance behind the British line of ships, the battle began. I was most thankful that I had sent my wife and children far into the mountains of Virginia. Hour after hour after hour, the bombs burst, and the rockets streaked over Fort McHenry, where our beautiful new banner was flying. During the night of September 13th, there came an ominous lull, and I was filled with fear that Fort McHenry, our bulwark, had given up. But toward the dawn, the firing burst forth again from the fort and the ships. The fire held, back and forth, most steadily. I wondered now. I was filled with doubt, hope, fear, all at one time. Oh, say, can you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed? At the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous height o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed. and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?